Hey YT, what's going on? This is Fat Fabulous J, and I am here with another portion to my gastric bypass journey. Last time I talked to you, I believe I had been to the nutritionist. Well, Monday I had three appointments in one day. I don't know about you, but me personally, I really do not want to go to the doctor to see different doctors in one day. It's like, I don't know. And the weather, it started off beautiful. It was like probably close to 90 degrees outside. Humidity was way up there. And then all of a sudden in midday, it just turned to huge thunderstorms. I mean, raining like crazy. I did do a little footage of when I went, but I really didn't like the outcome of it. So I'm not going to post that. But yeah, so anyway, let's just get cracking right to it before I get all off into something else. The first appointment I had was with the doctor, and she went over my test results and gave me some advice and asked me a lot of questions, and that took about 45 minutes. Remind you, my appointment was at 1 o'clock. I thought it was at 1:30. I got there at 1:35. But the cool part was I didn't have to wait. She took me at 1:40. So anyway, she took me to the office and we discussed one test results. She was talking about how my iron was very low, which I discussed in the last video. How my vitamin C was low, how very, very low my vitamin D was. And she was saying how vitamin D makes your hair come out, how tired it makes you if you don't have enough of it, if you lack it. She also explained my uric acid was low, but she said she didn't think it was because I was catching gout. She thought maybe it was because I wasn't getting enough fluids and not drinking enough water, and which is probably so. I drink fairly amount of water, but there are times that the whole day will go by and I want the water, but I don't know. For some odd reason, I'll have a bottle that I'm nursing and know I need to just finish it and just move on to the next. Or I'll grab some juice, tea. I really like tea, and so I'll grab something like that. But I really just need to try to stick with the water, especially since I have diabetes now, and I do have that hunger for thirst. So she told me to try to drink enough fluids. She asked me what happened when I went to the nutritionist. I explained to her the 3 steps that the nutritionist wanted me to take. And then she asked me about physical, activity. And I explained to her about my knees and how I'm unable to get around and do things. I did used to exercise, but or had some form of activity, even if it was just work. And now that I can't do those things, it bothers me, and I don't like being just sitting around or whatever. So she asked me to have access to a pool, and where I live, I do have a huge outdoor pool area. And she told me it would be good if I would try a couple of days out the week to just get in the pool because, it would help with my knees. I wouldn't feel any of the weight, and just walk back and forth in the pool, or just treat it like I'm just having fun, like I'm a kid again, just to get some activity, going. And I told her, okay, I could probably do that. So, let's see what else she discussed with me. She also discussed with me about how I need to see the cardiologist because they just want to make sure everything is fine with my heart before I have my surgery date. So if something is wrong, then they could correct it before I have my surgery. She explained to me about the sleep apnea, how I really need to go and see them too. So if I do have it, they can get that to go on before I have surgery as well. I think that's pretty much it that happened with the doctor. I pretty much told you about the test results already when I talked to you about the nutritionist and everything. So that's pretty much what she covered. And then after I saw her, she took me straight to, it's not really physical therapy, but they consider it like exercise. And you're talking to somewhat of a physical therapist. And they explained to you some of the activities that they would like for you to do, along this process. So I sat and talked to a really nice young lady. She asked me a few questions about, what I felt like I could do what inhibits me from being able to do the things that I do. And I told her the same thing that I told the doctor. And she also suggests that I could get in, if I can, to get into the pool. That would help me just with my muscles, because if you just sit around and not doing much and not moving much, your muscles sort of depreciate a little bit. So you want to get to moving, and it's not like it's going to cause me to lose a lot of weight, but it will get my muscles to going instead of just lagging like they're doing. And then I won't be too tired when I just have to take a couple of steps somewhere. So I said, okay. And then she asked me about, do I have access to a gym? Now, I've been at my place for almost 2 years, and I did not know that we had a gym here. Duh. Huh? My daughter actually told me that. But I told her no. But then I told her, I have access other ways of, in a workout area. Well, the place that I'm actually going to, they have a pool and they actually have a workout area, she explained. And that if I couldn't get to my destination, that they do offer it there. It's free. I just need to make an appointment, which is nice. And it's really nice for people that go there, because not everybody has access to a pool and a workout gym like I do. So that's great. And she basically told me with the workout to just like maybe work up my upper body, like my arms for strength, shoulders, things like that. Something in a sitting motion. She did suggest the bike where you sit back and, pedal. But I don't know about that, because for one, I'm not going to want to get on that with these knees. And for two, I injured my foot a long time ago on that freaking bike, and so I'm scared of it. I got on that bike at the time. It was Fitness USA, I believe, and I don't think I was positioned in it correctly. So I'm just paddling my little fat self away, working myself out, and I noticed that my inner arch was like hurting a little bit. But instead of stopping like a normal individual would probably do, I continued to paddle and pedal and pedal. And what happened? I get off this thing to get on the treadmill, and instantaneously, before my foot hit the ground, its tightness hit the arch of my foot, where your arch is. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it started throbbing. I couldn't put my foot on the floor. It was like, oh my God, what the heck is going on here? I was with a girlfriend, and she was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, my foot is hurting really bad. I couldn't even, they had a bar there, like a little juice bar. I tried to make myself to the bar, and the more I sat there, the worse and worse my foot hurt. So I ended up telling her to just take me home. So I went home, and I soaked my foot. I put ice on my foot. I wrapped my foot up. I took a couple of pills. Nothing, absolutely nothing worked on that foot at all. I mean, I was in so much pain. And at the time, my room was downstairs. So I would have to climb 10 stairs to get back upstairs to get to the doctor, to have somebody come and get me. But I ended up calling my sister, and she took me like a big sister, but she's the baby. And she wheeled me in and everything. And come to find out, what I did was pull out several tendons and tore a ligament in my foot, just because I was paddling and didn't know what I was doing. And let me say, that hurt worse than when I broke my ankle. It put me on crutches. It didn't put me in a cast, but it had me on crutches, and I missed work for 2 weeks because that foot was in that much pain. It was horrible. So needless to say, I'm not getting on that bike. I don't care. And I'm not about to, and if I did that to my foot, what the hell would I do to my knees? You understand what I'm saying? So no thank you. No bicycle. But I will, try to strengthen up these little fat chubby arms before I have my surgery. Well, let's just say fat arms, because ain't nothing chubby on me. Okay, so that was the physical therapy part. Okay, now, after that, I had to go sit in the front where I watched the storm at the time it was 2:30. My next appointment wasn't until 4 o'clock. And guess where it was at? The psychiatrist. Now, I know you guys are dying to hear this part, and you really need to pay attention to this because it's important. I think you all need to learn about this. Because let me tell you something, the psychiatrist can make or break when you get your surgery. And I found this out because my first day I went, there was a young lady there in front of me, and she told me she had all these ailments. You know, she had diabetes, bad kidneys, just everything you can think of. Hypertension, thyroid. I mean, it was numerous things wrong with this woman, okay? Besides the fact that she was overweight. And she said she had went through everything, went everywhere she needed to go. But the problem was she saw the psychiatrist. And she told her how she really felt, how she was a little depressed and had anxiety and panic attacks and all these wonderful things. And the doctor postponed her surgery for a while because they felt that her mental state was not where it needed to be in order for her to have the surgery. Now, I don't know everything that she told the psychiatrist, but I thought it was interesting that the psychiatrist could delay your surgery. They can't say you can't have the surgery, okay? But they can delay it. And they also can tell you to go see another psychiatrist because they think you need further evaluation. They can tell you need to go to the classes that they have. They have classes at the bariatric center, like a group kind of thing. They could suggest that you go to that. I mean, it's things that the psychiatrist has control over. So it is very important that when you take this test, yes, you need to be truthful. At the same time, don't say something or give too much information that could prohibit you from having the surgery. First and foremost, of course, you should not be doing this for vanity reasons. And there is some women out there that probably have done this for vanity reasons. They want to lose weight because they think they're getting a husband. That's not a good thing. Or a boyfriend because she never had one before. This is not what this surgery is for. This surgery is also not going to... Some people, yeah, I think that it could change your attitude. But then you got some people, it's just in them to just be a bitch, you know, just have a nasty attitude, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to change because you had surgery. That's just in you. There's nothing that you can do about it. And that's probably why you don't have a man, or you don't have a husband, or you don't have any friends. This surgery is not for that part of your life. This surgery is for the ones like myself who's not mobile. They would like to go to work, go back to work, I sit back, like I told a lot of people. People take advantage or they don't appreciate small stuff like I do. And I wish to God that I could walk like I used to. You know, I go to the mall, I sit there and I watch old people walk back and forth for exercise. 70 years old. Hell, some probably 90. And I'm sitting there, a 45-year-old woman, and I'm watching them walk and I can't do it. That says a lot. So the surgery is for things like that. And if you go into it for the right reasons, you will keep the weight off. If you go in it for the wrong reasons, you know, I know you won't keep it off. And I've seen stories on here that people who gain the weight back. So you can get big again. That stomach will stretch. So, with that being said, let me move on. So, I saw the psychiatrist at 4 o'clock. Very, very nice lady. I mean, when I say nice, she's very sweet. I was looking for a psychiatrist to come out, talk real soft, you know, give you that fake smile, trying to look through you a little bit. No, she was really sweet and very, very easy to talk with. Now, the questions. I'm going to tell you what I can remember, okay? First thing, she's going to ask you about why you feel like you should have the surgery. She's going to ask you about your hobbies. She's going to ask you about family. Do you get along with your family? Do you have a support group? In other words, your family, you have a boyfriend, you have kids that is supporting you and helping you. She's going to ask you what you can and cannot do, meaning like What can you do in your home? Can you drive? Do you depend on people to do certain things for you? Then she's going to ask you about, have you ever been molested, sexually abused? Have you ever been on drugs or alcohol or a gambler? These are the things that she's going to ask. She's going to also ask you about your mother and father. What type of home structure? Did you get along with your parents? Did any one of your parents ever were strung out on drugs or alcohol? She's going to ask you about school. She's going to ask you if you were popular, or, did you have any friends, or were you considered an outcast, or you were shy or introverted. She's going to ask you things like that. Then she's going to ask you, a lot of the questions are some of the same questions, but just worded differently. And I think it's just because they just want to know if they can catch you in a lie. Because, people can come in all day long, I'm fine, yes. I got a huge support group, and then you turn around and say, well, you know what, I haven't talked to my father in years. You understand what I'm saying? So they try to catch you on that. She's going to ask you what kind of hobbies that you've accumulated over time. Then she's going to ask you a series of questions that's only going to deal with what's been going on with you in the last month. And I can't remember, but it's almost the same questions I just asked. Then she's going to give you a questionnaire, and the one I had was about 5 pages. It was 3 pages, but it was front and back and 1 page. And then she gives you a series of time to fill that out. It's pretty much the same questions, and then it's going to ask you, have you ever used drugs or alcohol or blah, 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 blah. Okay? And you fill that out, and then you give that back to her, and then after that, you got one more test. And the last test, you take a computer test, which is a equivalency of 165 questions. And those questions are things like, do you get irritated easily? Do you hear voices? You ever thought of suicide? Do you consider yourself a follower instead of a leader? Are you easily taken advantage of? It's 165 questions, but they pretty much are the same way. Even one question or 2 questions in particular, they keep asking you, it'll pop up and say something like, are you just answering these? Are you lying and saying these questions are true and they aren't? Something like that, which I thought was sort of funny. But you need to just be honest with those questions as best as you can. Like, one of the questions they asked me was like, do you get irritated when people ask you to do things you don't want? Yeah, I get irritated. But then you might get a question that say, do you want to fight someone because they're bossing you around? No, I don't want to fight you, but I also don't like being bossed around. You understand what I'm saying? So those are the kind of questions that you're going to have on that one. That 165 questions, they're going to be pertaining to somewhat of what I've just been saying to you. And that part of the test will probably take you about 15 minutes to 20 minutes to do. Overall, seeing the therapist, I got out of there I was done at about 5:15, something like that. I was done. So it's going to be about an hour and 15 minutes when you go see the psychiatrist, depending on what you tell them. Because the more information that you give, the more questions she's going to keep asking you about that same thing. But the thing is, I wanted her to know was that I was ready. And that, I did some research on it. And I pretty much know what surgery I want to have. I have, I believe, a legitimate reason of why. I explained to her that this procedure was offered to me a year ago, and I chose not to take it because at that time I really didn't think I was ready, and I just thought that gastric bypass was a bit extreme. Surgery to lose weight is extreme to me, and it still is. But I have learned in this past year or so, 2 years, going into 2 years, is that it's not extreme. And a lot of us need it. I think some people who had it probably didn't. Okay? But there is, percentage-wise, at least 60-70% of these people that do need it. You get to a bridge in your life and you just, I don't know, between your mental and your physical, when they meet together and you're in a position where you just can't buckle down and lose the weight like you did all the other times, then you need help. Especially when you look at yourself and say, wow, I got hypertension now and diabetes, and oh my God, my BMI is this much, and oh my God, I got arthritis, and I can't work, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. That's when you need some help. And there's nothing wrong with getting surgery. Just get it for the right reasons. And I believe there was a question that she asked me about, they're going to ask you about all the diets that you've tried, just like the nutritionist, and you're going to tell them that too. And they're going to ask you about what was your heaviest and what was your lowest weight. She's going to ask you what weight goal that you might have. They're going to ask you what doctor, she's going to ask you, what doctor did you choose? And through all of that, she asked some real interesting, deep questions that really made me think. But I think I came up with the perfect, honest answers. And they're going to ask you about anxiety and your sleeping habits and panic attacks and all those things, how much caffeine you take, what time you go to bed, what time you get up, do you think you need medication, do you hear voices talking to you, and things like that. They're going to ask you those psychiatrist questions there too. But just maintain it. I wouldn't, if you really feel the need to tell her that, yeah, I hear voices, and then you need to be seeing more than just her. If you feel these sudden thoughts of suicide, then I think you need to get your own psychiatrist, not just her. Okay? And they're going to ask you, do you see one as well? So anyway, after I answered all the questions on the questionnaire, the next thing I did was went and I made an appointment for 4 weeks from now, which is August the 5th. And she explained to me, when I come in, I will see the nutritionist, I will see her again, and I will see the doctor. And from that point, they're going to tell me if they feel like I'm ready for the surgery. And if that's the case, then they'll submit it to, the insurance and see if the insurance will just give it a go-ahead to do it due to certain circumstances or whatever the case may be. And then hopefully I'll have a surgery date. But she explained to me that either I get the go-ahead or I'll get the go-ahead, but I might need to see some extra psychiatric help. I'll get the go-ahead, but she wants to evaluate me a little bit more, or they'll just tell me that I gotta wait a while and that I'm not ready right now. So I'm hoping from everything that has went on that they realize I am ready for this, and I get a surgery date. I'm hoping and praying that I don't have to wait to January, because January would be the 6 months that, for the process. Or, hell, I get it between August and September. Who knows? I don't know. It would be nice if I did. I just want to get it over, done with, and just get this part of my life to go on, because I got a lot of life in me, a lot of things I want to do. And she does ask you that too. It's another question, I'm sorry. She's going to ask you, once you post-op, had the surgery for a couple, maybe 3 months or so, or 7, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to doing? And my first thing was, I want to take my grandkids to Cedar Point or Disneyland, because I want to be able to walk the park. I love the amusement parks. So that's one of the things I really want to do a little bit more traveling, and I definitely would like to get back to work, because, I just want to be more active. I want to be mobile and not be in pain. And I'm not saying that, this is going to take all my pain away, but you know what? If it takes away half of it, I'm happy, because how I'm feeling right now, it's not good at all. So anyway, okay, lovelies. I know this was pretty lengthy, but I did have 3 doctor appointments, and I think it was imperative that I talk to you guys about what happened. So the next one I'll be talking about is the cardiologist and the sleep study. I haven't done it yet for personal reasons, but I'm going to give them a call next week, make an appointment, because I want that done before I go back. She said that part, now understand this, the cardiologist and the sleep study does not make them make the determination on you having the surgery, okay? They just want to make sure everything is all right. And I asked her, did I need to see any more doctors after the cardiologist and the sleep study? She told me, no, not at this point. So anyway, I'm actually a little nervous about it, but at the same time, I'm happy. You know, very happy. This is going to be interesting. So anyway, thank you so much for spending the time to listen to me, because I know this was pretty lengthy. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, so I wanted to run my mouth a little bit too. But anyhow, hopefully this is giving you some information on your journey and what for you to expect. So I think it's important. We're going here blindsided sometimes. So anyway, you guys take care. Stay plus size, stay beautiful, stay sexy, and most of all, stay confident. Okay.